just heard you freaking...
Oops, I wasn't live.
I'm dead.
I let everybody in and we weren't even live yet.
Rip.
Come on back, Alpha. We weren't even live while y'all were arguing.
I just walked away for a second, noticed that he was gone. What happened?
Yeah. I don't know. He just
butthurt
left
because I was defending myself because he called me a retard.
No, you wouldn't stop and let him explain himself. Is what
he
happened.
Already explained himself.
You gotta let him explain himself while he's talking.
He already did. He was getting it.
So?
He was not explaining himself. But whatever. I mean, if he's gonna get butthurt like that, don't
me butthurt again. And you're
the one who left.
Shut the fuck up!
Oh my god.
If you call me butthurt one more time, we will never have another civil conversation because it's not about being butthurt. It's about you not shutting the fuck up long enough to hear out somebody's statement. Do you know how civil conversations go and discussions and debates and all that?
Not when people call me retarded.
Hear out the entirety of what somebody is saying.
Not when someone calls me retarded. No. So if you apologize for calling me retarded, then yes, I will hear you out.
I'm not going to apologize to you. I've called literally everyone in this chat retarded at some point. You're the only one who has a fucking problem.
You want to
Stop being a child.
So you want to talk to me about being civil. So being civil is calling each other names.
I will call anybody that I consider a friend whatever the fuck I want to, because again, they should have the decency and the fucking common sense to know that it's not meant offensively. If you take it offensively and you're coming from a place where you're going to be offended because I called you retarded when I've called everyone in here retarded at some point, yes, I'm going to tell you, shut the fuck up, you're a child and I'm not going to talk to you.
And in all fairness,
me and Jiminator have gotten the worst.
Well, in all fairness, some of us are giving it right back to Tyler. So not only can we take it, but we can dish it right back.
Yeah, but you know what nobody does? Nobody is going to interrupt me while I'm saying something.
No, I will let you say
you were done. I thought you were done.
You're not done. I was literally actively telling you I was not done with my opening statement, and you were still trying to interrupt me. Do you understand that?
I'm waiting.
I'm waiting for an answer. Do you understand that?
I apologize. I thought you were done. I guess there's an audio delay on my end because it looked like you were done talking.
Listen, here's what I will apologize for. I will apologize for the tone of all this that followed, because it didn't have to go to this place. I understand you were offended because I called you retarded. I understand. I'm not apologizing for that. I'm not going to apologize for that. I say that. That's part of how I talk. Okay? If you're going to act like you're offended because I said retarded at some point, then fuck off. We're not friends. Like, and literally, and I'm not even directing that at you because you have always been mature and had enough common sense to know that I'm not saying that offensively to you. Why this moment hit you different, I'm not sure.
Well, because I don't do social cues very well, so when you type things, I can't hear the context. So the only way I can hear that you're joking is when I hear your voice, because I get my social cues from verbal cues, not text. That's part of my autism, and I'm sorry that I can't see social cues in text.
Well, then I'm sorry that I came in angry at you. But again, I don't like being... You can ask anybody who knows me. I do not like being interrupted, okay?
Okay, and I apologize. I didn't think that I was interrupting you. Like, I thought you were done.
Okay.
Genuinely. Like, I'm not...
Then I apologize for where the conversation went after that, because... Like I said, there is one way. If anybody ever genuinely wants to trigger me, interrupt me, because I do not like being interrupted. Okay? And I want you to understand, because I do feel bad for yelling at you. I don't like being interrupted, especially not emphatically interrupted repeatedly, and that tipped me toward an angrier response than I would have had. So I'm sorry.
And I apologize for interrupting.
Now we're back to being a happy family.
Yay!
Yeah.
If it makes you feel any better, Ash, I've done the same thing to Jason before.
Oh yeah.
Oh, bro.
We've had battles. Trust, we've had battles, both
Yes,
on
they have.
lives and behind the scenes.
I'm just saying
Yep.
it's a very consistent response that I have. But if somebody, I will debate, I will go back and forth with you, I will do whatever I have to do in the moment. But like,
There's got to be common ground.
I can't stand being interrupted. It's. I don't know if it's from the army. I don't know if it's from like. I don't know where it comes from.
It's just a respect thing. I mean, it don't even have to be that.
I'm just bad at handling being interrupted.
I mean, welcome to my world. I'm the one that gets constantly interrupted a lot. You know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, I would like to be heard too, and I get irritated too. So I feel totally 100% where you're coming from.
Yeah. And like on my side of things is in my family, that's the only way you get heard.
No.
You know? So like that's what I'm used to.
I get that because I'm from the South and I have that too.
And you
that's
also
why
know my mother. Like
yeah, no, and your mom's the worst for it. But like it's never like she doesn't interrupt me when I'm making a point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I'm a very, I will say like a fucking chapter to make the point that I'm making if it's something that we're already having a discussion about. But when I come in and then I left initially, and I do this often, I left initially to stop myself from saying something mean. And then immediately you said that I was butthurt, and I was like, oh no, I'm not butthurt. I'm just trying not to be mean to you. You know what I mean? Like, and that was the thing. Like, that's where it goes to like a different place. It's like I know myself. I know, like it's an irrational response that I have, like genuinely, because I too grew up in an environment where people interrupt each other to be heard, and so I understand that part of it. But it's like it's the second level effect of okay, then you're gonna say something because I'm not there when I stopped myself from being an asshole, you know?
Well, because again, I don't know how to explain it. I don't do social cues. I take my social cues from other people.
No, I get
so
you.
like when you just leave and like that's a thing that like, I've been
I get you. I get
of,
you.
Like people do that when they're butthurt. So like I'm like, oh well, then he's butthurt.
Just understand, for me personally, anytime I leave a conversation like that, especially, it's not because I'm upset or whatever. It's because I like you enough that I don't want to, in a moment, say something that I don't want to say or mean. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
which I know that, so I will put that to future.
I mean, I've seen Tyler do this in person too, so it's like it's something like that I respect you for because you stop yourself, and that's something you can look up to, you know.
Well, it's just I realize that when I get mad at people, I will say things that I don't mean, literally, because if I hit a certain point, I will attack you, and I don't care. I don't care. I want to hurt your feelings in that moment, you know.
Yep.
And I'm not gonna do that.
But then, if I may, you know, to kind of vouch for you saying that you control yourself, like no matter how, because trust me, I know from experience, no matter how heated me and Tyler have gotten with each other, if we give each other enough time, enough space, then there's always that time later on where we're like, all right, hey, look, my bad for this, apologize for that, you know what I mean? Let bygones be bygones, live and let live, and let's move on.
And you, like I said, genuinely, because I do feel bad about being mean to you, because I don't like that. Number one, because you're a woman.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I like you, and you can ask anybody in the chat. I've done the same thing to most of them. Like at some point, we have been in a conversation the same way, and I've left the conversation because I'm like, okay, I'm not talking to you right now.
Yep.
Like,
and if he doesn't leave, the other person usually leaves, like when he got into it with Menace.
No, hey, Ash, just be thankful. I've been full out, like, yelled at by Tyler. So, like, you didn't even get
All of us have.
Mm.
I have anger problems, guys. I'm not proud of that. I'm just saying, like, I'm working. One of my things that I'm working on to make sure that I don't hit those points where it overtakes things is I'm walking away from situations before I say meaner things than I want to say because I like you. I do. I love all of you genuinely from
Yep.
the bottom of my heart. Now, to the point that I was making just at the end of it, I just want to say my response with Mumford and Sons, and we can laugh and we can go back and forth. My response with Mumford and Sons was, you said, okay, then if Tyler is here, then can we agree that Greg is here for the indie folk? You're right, 100%. I said I don't know who is indie folk. I'm gonna Google it, and I Googled it. I saw Bon Iver and Mumford and Sons, and I was like, oh wait, so now this is the part that I think Twitch cut my audio. It was probably because of some song I was playing. I'm not sure why Twitch cut my audio. It cut. But Twitch cut my audio, so you guys I don't think heard me say, okay, well, but he can't be the top of the charts in a genre that Mumford and Sons and Bon Iver exist in because while I don't listen to Bon Iver, I've never heard a song from them that is short of amazing. And Mumford and Sons is fucking phenomenal. And so going back to those, yes, the next thing that I played your next request, and I said, okay, I said, but if I listen to this song, which is the best song that I've heard from Greg tonight, like technically the best, studio quality song that I've heard from him. I'm not saying it's his best song, but I am saying it's the best one I've heard. I was like, he cannot be at the top if this is his best song.
Which
If
is not.
I can, okay, that's fair. But if I can point to Mumford and Sons and show you, literally an album full of better songs, which again, regardless, when we're talking about the GOAT, even if we're going to the GOAT of a genre, which we were not talking about the GOAT of a genre, but we were talking about who's at the top of that genre.
And can I reply to that really quick?
Sure.
I would say that they are folk, but they're not indie, because they're very much mainstream folk.
So they're undeniably folk.
So like, yes, you would be correct in the folk aspect, but like my thing was independent, like.
Right. So, but when those songs, because you got to remember those songs, Little Lion Man, The Cave, that album, I can't remember the name of the album. That album was the one that actually got them noticed and got them signed. That album at that time, regardless of what they are right now, at that time they were still indie.
Well, yes, but what I'm saying is that like I'm not saying they're not great. But I'm also saying that Greg can also be up there with them, just like you said, Tyler can be up there with George Strait, Willie Nelson, like all that. I disagree.
Sure, and that was mostly sarcasm on my part. Just
okay. Well, I don't. Your sarcasm has to be very blatantly obvious for me, Tyler.
I think that Tyler Childers hits a beautifully unique niche, and he is one of my favorite artists of all time.
Yes, he's amazing. He's a great voice.
I still don't think he has put in the time. Now, do I think that in the end he will have surpassed all the greats? Absolutely. But also
his potential is there.
His music resonates with me.
Yeah.
He is from my area of Kentucky. Like 100%, his music resonates with me more than George Strait does.
Oh yeah.
I'm not knocking George Strait, but at the end of the day, his talent, it's not only that. There is an objective, and this is the point where subjective, like people talk about opinions and everything, and I think opinions on music, yes, that decides who your favorite is and all that. But there is an objective scale too. It's just like when I say Jason's wrong for saying that Wayne can't be in the GOAT discussion. Like, again, and I know Jason's only half-hearted serious about that, but again, look at Lil Wayne, no matter what. First of all, if you're looking at Southern hip hop artists, like hip hop artists from the South, really you gravitate toward Atlanta because Houston rap is terrible.
Oh, it's awful.
But you gravitate toward Atlanta, and when you look at Atlanta and artists that really have that Atlanta style, it's Outkast or Wayne or Luda, but really like Luda didn't embody or rep the South, so it can't be Luda. You have to look at Outkast. Neither of them independently on their own without the other, without it being Outkast. If you look at each of them as individual artists, neither Andre or Big Boy can be the Southern rapper. You know what I mean? Like, and so that's
them as a team could, but
them as a team. And Outkast is absolutely one of the greatest, rap duo. Well, in my opinion,
hands down, I will absolutely agree with that.
And they belong in the GOAT discussion because of that.
Yes.
But if you take them out individually, neither of them can be that. Even though Andre is phenomenally talented and Big Boy is a dope rapper, that does not save them in that regard. And so when you look at an individual artist, Wayne is the only individual artist that has that style from that area, reps it, embodies it, because Wayne owns it. And then when you to the next step and you look at impact, you look at who people brought on, who influenced, really did work for the artists who fell under them, because then you got to take from Wayne, you get Nicki is at the top of the charts consistently, and whether you like her or not doesn't matter. The impact, the reaching impact, Wayne absolutely. Plus,
didn't he also give Drake an up?
Yeah. I was gonna go to that in a second, because Drake kind of did it on his own, but like Wayne also brought Drake up. Really. Like Drake got himself right to the breaking point, but without Wayne, Drake doesn't exist like he does.
Exactly.
Yeah,
like he would still be successful, but not to the caliber that he is now.
What Drake would have been, it's just like if you take away Jay-Z from Kanye never broke the plane.
Yeah.
You know,
or
like
Justin Bieber with Usher. Like
but Bieber is a different genre completely.
I know that, but I'm saying like he got up there with Usher. Like,
but here's the three examples that matter. Jay took Kanye, who was right at the brink. Jay took Kanye and said, "Let's push you over and actually let you make it." Just like Wayne took Drake and said, "You're right at the brink. Let me take you and push you over and let you make it." Yeah. Just like Eminem took Yellow Wolf and said, "Let me push you over the edge and let you make it."
And 50. And 50.
Yeah. And so it's like that's the kind of impact that I'm talking about. When you take the full scope of everything I just said about Wayne can't objectively, Wayne cannot be left out of the GOAT conversation.
Yeah.
Right. Well, like I was telling Jay,
because it's also how they changed that genre.
Yeah, it's
for whatever reason.
Well, it's like I told Jay too, is that it depends on your body of work, how much you contributed to the genre, to the culture, and everything. You got to take that into consideration.
Like, literally, Wayne contributes so much. Like I would say, like, one of, if not the most contributing voices to rap.
That's the thing, because in that conversation, I'm gonna say, like, when it came to Southern standalone artists, like, my initial response was to put Luda in that spot and say, like, Luda is my favorite from the South and all that, because he is, like, sonically listening to artists that rep that area, that culture, all that. Luda is my first,
like, style wise.
But
people also forget Nelly and Master P in that too.
I didn't forget them. I excluded them. There's a difference.
Okay.
Tyler's like, yeah, they're not a part of this conversation.
No.
Well, I mean, they're Southern rap, and they contributed a lot to the industry.
No, Master P technically is West Coast rap because he didn't establish No Limit Records until he moved to Richmond, California.
Yeah, we had this conversation.
We had this
Master
conversation
P
last
gets
time.
pushed out to Cali.
Did Snoop Dogg push Wiz over?
What?
That's West Coast, Jim.
Did Snoop help, like, Wiz Khalifa get into it?
Again, we talking about West Coast, dog. And
not relevant.
Also with Wiz, like, let's be real, Wiz don't go in this conversation.
No.
No, he's talking about Snoop Dogg and his contributions to rap.
You ain't even got to bring up Wiz to get credible contributions from Snoop, okay? Like, love him or hate him, Snoop is part of the backbone of hip hop.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, 100%.
But so like that's when I like basically like what I was trying to say was like the way that you feel about Tyler, which like again, I don't think I love Tyler. He's a great musician.
Yeah.
And so and you had said it was kind of I guess the word would be hyperbole of like being up there with the greats. Like I honestly was just getting you to, like saying that to get you off my back about Tyler. Like I think he's amazing. Like I'm not saying he's not great. So like yes, I will put him up with the greats if you'll just shut the fuck up, like about Tyler.
Look,
like, you know, I was trying to appease you without like completely changing my opinion, if that makes sense. Like,
well, so specific,
Or being condescending.
or be condescending. Yeah, I'm just like fine. Like I didn't want to say it like agreeing with you, like in order to just like, but not mean it, if that makes sense.
No, I feel you.
So that's why I gave you a trade of like, I'll give you Tyler if you give me Greg.
I appreciate that because I don't want anyone to ever agree with me for the sake of agreeing with me. But what I will say is, we were talking about artists out of the current generation that belong with the greats. And again, like I said, the Greg, from what I heard, he has good songs. None of them would outshadow, and you know as well as I do, none of them would hang objectively with like a Bon Iver. Like
well, I mean, it just depends on like if we're talking. See, I don't know because like as much as I love Bon Iver, like I know a lot of his songs are not written by him. And so like there we've got to go into that conversation. And a lot like the two songs that I showed you of Greg's, he wrote both of those songs in under 30 minutes. So that's not his like best. That's literally just I have this thought, I have this beat or this like I have this tune. I'm going to like put it down and record it within like a day, release it, and I'm done with it. Cuz he has said like he got tired of writing songs and then like spending months and months poring over the tracks, poring over the lyrics, poring over the vocals and just messing with it. And when in reality he goes back to the original that he recorded, the very first version, and it was the best version out of all of them. So he just stopped like poring over it of just writing a song, getting it like recorded and just sending it out because like that's just like how he wanted to start doing more authentic music instead of like overproduce inauthentic stuff just to get like
I think you're going down quite a rabbit hole, or unless I'm tripping.
Well, that's where.
Well, I'm just saying, like if we're talking about like songs that would compare to like those calibers of Mumford and Sons, Bon Iver, and stuff like that, like the two songs that I showed are definitely not going to be in that conversation. But
so
like talent-wise,
you're talking about who's on top of that genre. Like, are you talking about the most successful, who had the biggest impact? Like, what's the criteria?
Like for me it's like who has the most like the best talent. Like I think he has amazing talent. His voice, he doesn't use like a lot of autotune, not saying the other guys do, I don't know if they do or not, but like a lot of his stuff are just raw vocals like with very little workings.
Well, let me give you a pause because anybody making a professional song, him included, I would imagine, anybody
crickling their mic. Somebody's crickling their mic way too much. That's just annoying.
Yeah, I heard it too. I don't know where it's coming from.
Is that Jay?
But anybody who's making a professional song, here's the thing, and this is where people have to get away from like just attacking, using too much autotune. There is a level that you can turn it up to that is unacceptable. Every song that you have ever heard has had.
Well, yes. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying that, but I also like I literally was just on his live stream yesterday. Like he does live streams on Instagram a lot, and he sounds exactly the same. Yeah. And so it's like one of those things where it's like it's very hard for me to find those big names where you listen to their track where they recorded it. And then you listen to them live, not at a concert, not, just literally just live where they're just recording and they sound exactly the same.
Yeah, no, and it is and should be because again, your recording should be the perfect picture of what you want to sell as a product. The actual crafted, worked on,
Yeah.
fine tuned, and that's what pitch correction in a perfect world does.
Yeah. And some people just don't need it as much as others, and like that's okay.
Everyone needs it the same amount. It's still on everything that you do.
Well, I'm not saying I know it's on everything you do. I'm saying that like if you can have someone like say Greg for instance, and you play his live, like you are in the room live and he's singing the song, and then you listen to the recording and it's like almost indistinguishable, but then you listen to someone like Mumford and Sons where again like listening to them live
completely different. This is where you're kind of venturing into objective or subjective categories, though, because I've seen plenty of Mumford and Sons songs live performances where they have done their recorded songs, and to be fair, it's not a very hard thing for him to replicate because, again, one of the selling points of Mumford and Sons is the cracks in his voice and
well, yeah, I'm not saying that he's not they're not great. I don't know. It's just again, I guess I exclude them from the thing because when I think of indie folk, I'm thinking lesser knowns, people who don't sell millions, people who don't because it's more I'm thinking of the authentic, not the folk.
Right.
Like yes, there's folk in the name. Okay. And maybe 10 years ago they would be considered indie folk, but they're definitely not now. So that's why I take them out of the conversation of indie folk of like right now.
Yeah. So the thing with that is you still, like I said, and that's why I brought up the point. When that album came out, those songs were what actually drove the commercial success that follows. Even if you take the artist out of the indie folk genre, even if you take an artist out of a genre, you can't take the songs that dropped at that period out of said genre. And that's where you have to acknowledge that, okay, yeah, I don't know what Mumford and Sons is doing right now. I haven't listened to their newer stuff. But
I didn't even know they had newer stuff, not gonna lie. I haven't listened to them in years.
I don't know that they do.
Because and it's just one of those things that it's like it's a different like as much I think that 10 years ago me would 1000% agree with you that Mumford and Sons is not only the top but is the GOAT. But now that has changed as I've been more like as I've listened to more, like, and it's just like over time my taste in the genre has changed. Like I'm drifting a little bit like more away from that scratchy Mumford and Sons sounds and more into like the fuller, richer sounds of like Sleeping at Last of Ryan O'Neal and stuff like that. Like if we're talking goats, it's Ryan O'Neal hands down, but by far beats Mumford and Sons tenfold.
So and again, that's where the factors that you're bringing in, getting away from the scratchy voice sound, that's where you get into subjective, and that's fine.
You mean objective?
No, I mean subjective, because that specific voice preference pertains to you. Subjective is what you personally prefer.
Right.
Where I'm going is going into the objective conversation of no, when it comes into objectively, the song that I played to follow up, the song.
Which one did you play?
So
because again, we lost all of the sound right when you played it.
The last one I played from Greg would have been the French one.
Yeah, no, I know that one. But what was the last one for the?
And then I said objectively, you cannot listen to this song and then listen to Little Lion Man and say that is a better song than this one.
Well, no, I wasn't saying that, but we were talking about artists.
Right, but okay, understand you weren't hearing what I was saying. That's why I started typing to you.
Yeah.
That was the argument you were having with me.
Hey, can I just
unknowingly
ask? Hey, can I just add? Roxy, you won the giveaway, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
Roxy won the giveaway. I accidentally got two winners. Roxy won the giveaway, and she wants me to send it to Ash. So, Ash, I need you to send me.
Aw, that's actually really sweet.
I already bought one, so I'm just waiting for it.
Yeah, I didn't figure you'd be too upset about it.
I was just upset that I have no fucking points.
I don't know why you didn't have points. I was
That's
literally
probably
so that was the thing. I was
Blocked me.
admittedly I was a little frustrated throughout the whole thing too, because I was trying to figure out what was going on with the line. I was trying to figure out why the points weren't coming
And
up.
I was following you. I'm like, I have all of the things on. Like, I even have the little notifications on. I looked at all of the little settings that I could possibly do. There was nothing that said anything about points or anything.
I found it
well.
pretty
Also,
hilarious. Like I have
well,
like
hold on,
I have
hold
like
on, hold on.
15.
I was gonna say, like I said, there's been times where Streamlabs breaks and doesn't allow certain people to get points. It's happened
Yeah,
to me before in the past.
It's happened
it's
to me
probably
too.
just a.
But
Who
I have
knows?
like 15 million points on YouTube, so I'm like, I was like, oh, let me just get some real quick.
Yeah, because Jim's greedy.
How would I even check that on YouTube?
Just
Same way,
exclamation.
exclamation points.
Oh, I'll have to check that.
But
So
you have
I
to be in here
should have a
live to
lot
do
on
it.
that. Well, yeah, but because I should
Because I
have a
don't have
lot
that set up.
on that one.
Or is it maybe you have to be following him for long enough to start getting points?
Well, I've been following him for like 2 years.
Yeah, but you
But
haven't been in a lot of the lives except for lately. So
well, yes, I have. I mean, I was in a lot of lives back when I lived with my mom because she would always tell me to get on to give her more views.
I'll send Tyler peanut butter waffles next week.
Oh yeah, we never got to his last request.
No, it's all good.
Dude, I love that song.
It was
It's
just a
so fucking
freebie.
good.
Oh, and speaking of which, I don't know if anybody saw in the Discord, but I'm officially a big boy YouTuber now. I got copywritten from 4 of the 5, I think all 5 songs
Was
that
it
we played last week.
Nice.
And
Look at
most of them
you.
were Ash's requests, but Mises hit me once that I was trying to let Tyler know about, and I think
Yeah.
Crucifix hit me once.
Rip. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I mean, I'm not monetized anyway, so I
Yeah.
wouldn't mind giving the artist their share of the money anyway if I was.
Jay's
Yeah.
just making bank off of these live streams.
I know,
No,
right?
I'm not. If I were, I wouldn't be such a broke ass and not
I'm
being able
trying
to dono for my requests.
I'm trying to think of a song that by Ryan that would be at the caliber of Little Lion Man. Because it's hard because again, you're subjective of Mumford and Sons is your favorite indie artist.
You're muted.
Ryan
I wouldn't
who?
even say indie.
Tyler,
Folk.
you're muted.
Let's go with folk.
Like I said, Mumford and Sons is my favorite, but that was that's why I was specifically clear about I was not having a subjective conversation based on that. I just used them because I could think of an example that
Exactly. And like I think it's also hard because Greg is such a like smaller artist, it's harder to compare him to someone who has millions and millions of hits on a song.
absolutely.
That you've heard like 20 million times. But like it's not to say that I freaking adore Little Lion Man. I will say that it's not their best. If we're gonna go with the best,
It's not their
probably one of my favorites would be what is my favorite Mumford and Sons song? I don't even know.
Is Little Lion
Gotta
Man the
think.
one that got played on the radio a lot?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
It was.
Okay.
yeah, the one that he had
Well,
just played.
stay with me, whatever it is.
No, that's I Will Wait. I
I will wait.
wait for you.
Yeah, that's my favorite
That one.
Mumford and Sons.
Yeah, that's another good one.
I think "Roll Away Your Stone" is my favorite song that they've made.
That's a good one.
Cool. Yeah, I don't listen to a lot of Mumford and Sons, but I remember that one from the radio.
It's been a long time since I've listened to them. I mean, they're on my playlist, but my playlist is so long that like it just ooh, I gotta say White Blank Page. White Blank Page is just that's a
No,
good ass
no,
song. If
no.
we're gonna talk about good ass songs, that's a fucking good ass song. That one in the cave. The cave is really good as well.
I watched this guy pour a 5-foot beer glass.
Let's see. What's another one?
That was random.
Yeah, that was very
That was
random.
strange.
That's what happens when you watch other stuff while you're trying to be on a live.
I know, but it was just fascinating, you know?
Yeah, I gotta say,
Oh, it can be
those two are my
fascinating when you're not
favorite
on a live.
alpha. I don't know if you remember those.
What'd you
one?
say, Ash?
White Blank Page and The Cave.
Oh yeah, no, both
Those are my top two,
that,
probably.
That album honestly should
The whole album.
greatest hits.
Yeah,
Like,
it's great. I'm trying to think of one by Sleeping at Last, because like it's weird because it's like they're very like upbeat, like they have a very upbeat sound, and then Sleeping at Last is literally like it's in his name, Sleeping at Last. Like he's very like more subtle, softer, like slower stuff. He does like a lot of violin, which like I think that what sets him apart is that he does all of his recordings himself, and they are like, you know, like mainstream recording label quality. But then also he does all of his instruments. Like he plays every single instrument himself. He plays the guitar, he plays the piano, he plays the violin, he plays the cello, he plays fucking everything. Like he composes, like he doesn't just sing and write his own songs, like he composes things, like he's just fucking insane.
So he's the Trent. So he's the Trent Reznor of indie folk.
I guess I don't know who that is.
Trent
He's
Reznor, Nine Inch Nails, did all the instruments for Nine Inch Nails.
I guess. But like he because isn't 9 Inch Nails like a full band? Like
no, it's Trent
It's
Reznor.
one person, but when he goes out on tours, he has a band backing him. But
gotcha. Okay. Then
for
yeah,
his album, he does all the music.
then that's who he is. Because he does like, and it's freaking insane. Plus his voice is just beautiful, and his songs are just like I think I showed Jim one of his songs. It was
Sleeping at
Sun.
Last?
Yeah. I showed you a couple of his songs,
Yeah,
actually.
you definitely did, yeah.
He's the one that sang Saturn.
Mm-hmm.
I love
Also,
Saturn.
Ash, when you were discussing Greg, you were going into a possible other genre as well of singer-songwriters, of people who write and sing their own music.
That's true.
That's another conversation to be had of, greats of singer-songwriters.
Yeah.
Well, then what's the difference between like indie to like alternative?
There's a huge difference. What are you asking?
Wait, okay, what's alternative is like
Alternative is
Alternative is
basically
alternative.
what came out in the 90s to current that would have fallen under rock or grunge previously, but has an edgier tone than like classic rock or just bland rock.
It says alternative refers to the genre's distinction from mainstream or commercial rock or pop. The
Yes.
term's original meaning was broader, referring to musicians influenced by the musical style or independent DIY ethos of late
Okay.
1970s punk rock.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense because Smokey,
Basically what I said with more words.
Sorry.
Smokey's
Definitely.
album, like Smokey's music, his stuff goes under alternative.
Yeah.
So I kind of found that a little like what does that exactly mean? But that actually makes a lot of sense now.
The Education of Jiminator.
Yep.
Shut up, Jim.
So like this is just some like lyrics of one of Ryan's songs of just like I just like the way he like paints a picture is just oh my god, he's so good. But it's with golden string, our universe was clothed in light, pulling at the seams, our once barren world now brims with life. that we may fall in love every time we open up our eyes. I guess space and time takes violent things, angry things, and makes them kind. We are the dust of dust. We are the apple of God's eye. We are infinite as the universe we hold inside. And then it's like infinity times infinity type of the. But it's basically like how, like the telling of like God creating the universe. Plus, I just love him because he's a Christian like artist, and he puts a lot of like Christian like stuff in his music, and he's just amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm always down for a Christian musician.
I mean, and that's the thing. Like I said, I'm not knocking that guy at all. I don't know that guy.
Ouch.
But
Ow.
to the totality of things, I ran a much longer stream than usual, and I did not take a pee break before I came in here. And so Sierra's behind me, which I think means she is pressing me to watch another episode of Fallout, which if you guys have not watched the new Fallout show on Amazon Prime, you should, because it's fantastic so
Is
far.
it actually good?
Yes, it is actually good.
Man, there's so many
I
shows.
don't have Amazon.
Shit. I gotta watch Lost, Futurama, Invincible. I got a whole bucket list.
Yeah, this can go way later on the list. You're not a huge Fallout fan, so it probably won't hit you as it hits me, but like it's still a good watching show as well. Sierra's obviously not a gamer.
So you're catching all the Easter eggs and shit.
Yeah, but I'm pausing it and pointing them out to her. It's really good. I mean, it fits into the Fallout franchise is the best way to say it. But I got to go empty my bladder because it's ready to explode. And
Oh, big boy gotta go pee pee.
Rip.
I came in here and it's been close to an hour, even though it doesn't feel like it. It's been close to an hour since this started. And Jay failed to start this when I actually got here, so I'm gonna dip. I appreciate you guys. Ashley, I love you.
Love you too.
Make it personal.
Man,
Hey, Brody, I'll play tomorrow if you're free.
Ash always fighting with folk.
I know.
Well, I am not.
What a hate.
Well, I mean, she is her mother's daughter.
This happened
That is
last
true.
after party. The whole show thing.
Legitimately, I'm gonna say this. I saw Tater come out of her earlier, and I was like, "Oh, that's where you are, Tater."
I am my mother's daughter. Not nearly as crazy though. I'm a Pisces, so.
I'm pretty sure me and Tater have had that same argument.
Oh, you probably have. You've had a lot more visceral
Heated
arguments with my mom that last a lot longer.
You know, out of all the
Can't tell you how many times I've been talking to her. I'm like, "Oh, how's Alpha?" She's like, "I fucking hate him right now." I'm like, "Oh, okay, never mind."
out of all the people in this community, like Tater's the one I'm scared of the most.
Yeah, I am too. My mom is very fucking scary.
I ain't
And
scared of her.
not only because of herself, but she knows people. Like, I swear that woman knows someone in like every city in America. I'll be like flying, and my flight will be delayed. She's like, "I have people in that city. Just let me know, and I'll call them and have them pick you up." And I'm like, "How do you know people in the bumfuck of nowhere, fucking Nevada?
Tater
Like,
connected.
who do you know?" She's connected. She's like, "If I don't know somebody, I know somebody who knows somebody." No, she does. Like, for
Illuminati,
real.
right?
Literally.
Like Alpha said.
But all right, I'm gonna jump out. I gotta pee.
Okay.
Have a good one.
See you
Call you
later.
tomorrow.
Yeah, YouTube says I only have one viewer. That's why I said we need commentators in the chat.
I'm dead.
People commenting in the chat so that it shows that we have more than one viewer.
Also, fun fact, another thing that Ryan does is with any, like, he does a lot of like space stuff. He's very interested in astronomy and all that stuff. That's why a lot of his like, he has
Yeah,
like, a lot of his albums are like
Bro's legit super creative with his whole outlet and discovery.
no, literally, like, it's insane. he like tells overarching stories like with an entire album and not just like a whole song. Like they all piece together. And so like he has one that's Atlas that has like I think Atlas 1 is like all of the planets, so like the sun, the moon, like everything, all of the planets, and then also like the weather and then the direction, so there's like north, south, east, west. Um my
See, I don't like to think
probably
that much when it comes to my music. I like
yeah.
bars and all, but and stories,
Well, it's
but
not like they're all
it
connected. It's just they're
gets.
all like the album is all like an overarching theme. So it's like the Atlas. And then there's Atlas Year 2, which is like the human side of nature. So you got like the emotions of like anger, love, like I think it's like heart, soul, anger, son, daughter, and then you have the 9 Enneagram types. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Like, and it
I
just
feel like
it's bizarre. And then like he just did Astronomy Volume 2 is I believe out now. So he does like any like major like space thing that happens, he creates a song. Usually it's like instrumental, there's no like words to it, but it's just like a instrumental song, um like for people to kind of that like embodies the like feelings that he has associated with it. So like he just released one for um the eclipse that happened. Um, he released that
I'm
I
still
think on the
pissed off the rapture never happened.
I'm dead. I know. So he did that one. Then there was a meteor shower on January 4th of this year that he did a song to. Last year there was a super blue moon that he did. There was like a comet. So like
So,
any like crazy like
do you like concept albums more than actual just albums of individual songs?
well, I like them both.
Is
Like
that what I'm hearing?
he has albums of individual songs as well, but like he also just has concept albums as well. Like he is constantly doing things. Like he never I'm like does this guy like never take a break? Cuz like as some like, a bigger artist like say, if we're I don't
Hey,
know, like
Jason.
I got the notice. I'll look at it later.
I'm dead.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
I sent you the song that me and Nappy did. Want to get your thoughts on it? I don't know if you're going to rewatch the stream or not. So
Yeah, I usually. I'm not gonna lie. I usually don't rewatch ATRL. I catch it live and that's it.
yeah,
Yeah.
so that's why I just thought I'd send it to you.
Yeah. But
I just want to give you shit, Jameer.
you have like people like say Rihanna who hasn't dropped a new album in 8 years, and you have like and like that goes for a lot of artists who just take years or months, like a very long time in between their ventures.
Yeah. Mhm.
And they don't release new stuff, and then a lot of their fans kind of die off because they're just like, well, there's nothing new from you for like almost a decade.
Well,
And
it's like
but then you have this
Jason
guy
and
who
I were
literally
talking
comes
about.
out with stuff like every week. I feel like he's dropping new stuff, and it's like it's never you never get the sense that he's just repeating things. It's always new, it's
Right.
always refreshing, and there's always like a
Yeah.
different tone to it. It's
Well,
really
it's like
cool.
me and Jason were talking before everybody showed up and I started a live. We were talking about how even though artists may not have current music out, when you talk about greatest of all time, you have to put the trailblazers and the people who helped start the genres into those conversations.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
that's literally Sleeping at Last. He's been
Hey,
around for
I'll see you guys later. Have a good night.
Later, Jimmy.
bye.
Bye, Jimmy.
Let me see how long he's been.
But that's why what we were saying is like with Mumford and Sons. That's somebody that everybody heard of, and they started out indie and got signed. You got to put them in that greatest of all time. When it comes to rap, you got to hit the greats of like Run DMC, LL Cool J, and people like that. Jason might be able to go ahead and throw some of the other names that he had in that
Yeah.
conversation.
See, I don't. Let me see when Mumford and Sons started, because Ryan has been doing this since 1999. So I think that's been a bit longer than Mumford and Sons, but I could be wrong.
I don't think so. I think Mumford and Sons is a couple of
I
years
think-
longer.
Yeah, I think there was like. Let me see.
Because that Stay song, I remember hearing that way, way back.
No, their first song was "Where's My Heart," released in January of 2007. So definitely not.
Well, I mean, they were indie before they got signed, so they were probably around before.
No, it literally says their very first song ever released, ever recorded, ever done anything is 2007.
Okay.
I mean, I'll look at their history of being a band, but unless they can backtrack all the way to 1998, they are definitely not been in the music industry longer than Ryan. How old are they? Let me see how old.
Well, the other thing is they have more name recognition than who you're talking
I guarantee
about.
not. I guarantee not. Maybe their band name, but not their songs.
That's what I'm saying. Is their band name and the songs they listen to, they had more name recognition. Because I'd never heard of these people that you're bringing up.
Let's see. Little Lion Man was released in 2009. Let's see.
Because it's like the band Train, people like to shit on now. They were heavy independent until Meet Virginia, and they got signed.
They formed in 2007, so no.
That's fine.
Can't say they're a trailblazer.
Oh yes, you can still say they're a trailblazer. It's just they're not. They haven't been in the industry as long as people that you're talking about, but they are trailblazers because they brought the genre back from the brink.
Style. I swear to God, if they literally say that they got inspired by.
Because like I said, a lot of people had put Train into that indie folk before they got signed.
That's cool. They're also a Christian band. That's cool. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Let me check Spotify.
You also have to remember there's a lot of indie bands that have always been indie bands that never knew or before the time of Spotify and all those other streaming platforms.
Well, I know that. I'm not saying that. I'm seeing if they have an about page because I'm not seeing more of their origin story on Wikipedia.
I tell you.
History.
But it's also like for a genre like rock and metal, you know, Bad Omens is good, but I wouldn't put them up there as greats.
Yeah. And that's just when I don't know. It's hard because
you have an affinity for them and other people don't.
No, it's not even about my affinity. It's hard because it's a complete it's a different genre even though it shares the same name. Sleep I don't know. It's really weird because it also I don't know. I get you have to kind of include them in the thing of being in the past, but it's also if if they're constantly changing their sound, and I'm not saying Mumford and Sons, I'm saying other like artists who like are constantly changing their sound. So it's like, how can you even be true like of what their sound is? Like, because we're talking about the band or the artist, not this particular one song. Like if you're saying that this particular one song is the greatest indie song of all time, like that's also subjective because it's different for different reasons.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the point. Is that music is subjective, and nobody's going to have the same list ever of
Yeah.
greatest of all time. So
Yeah.
that's why people should preference when they talk about who they feel is great. They should say, "In my opinion."
Yeah.
But that's just in my opinion that I feel that way.
So fucking funny. Let me see.
Well, speaking of music, my curiosity has got the best of me. I gotta go hear this Jiminator and Nimpy song that Jiminator's so proud of.
Yeah,
It's good.
that's pretty decent.
Yeah, I'm
It
gonna go check it
surprised
out.
Alpha. Go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll catch y'all later. I'm gonna hop out.
Later.
Bye.
So yeah.
I'll probably keep it going for about another 5 minutes or so, maybe 4. Cut it off at a even hour.
Let's see.
Especially since I don't feel like playing music and worry about getting strikes again.
Right. Also, it's just like insane how much of his music is played in like shows and movies and TV, like all that stuff. Like it's absolutely insane.
I can
Like
understand that.
like
However,
name.
I've never heard of him.
Well, yeah, like I mean, again, it's like it's one of those things where people know his music, but they don't like because he's indie. They don't remember his name, like, but they remember the song. Like I was talking to some of my coworkers about, you know, like music, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Sleeping at Last, and they're like, I've never heard of him, and I'm like, fucking how? Like, yes, you have, you just don't know it. And then I'll play like a song of his, and they're like, oh, I know this song, and I'm like, exactly. So it's just like
Let's
one,
see.
and like that's just how he likes it. He likes to be like, you know, he can walk outside and nobody knows like who he, not like nobody knows who he is, but like nobody's like flocking after him, like he can,
Right.
but yet he has millions and millions and millions of, you know, like streams or plays, or, you know, like selling millions of copies of things, like, you know, so he's making bank but like basically anonymously.
Yeah.
Type
And
of
that's what a
thing.
lot of the independent scene people like to do is they want to make their money and not have that recognition or fame,
Yeah.
so they still have a private life.
Yeah,
And I
and
get
like he
that.
doesn't even do like Mumford and Sons does, like the reason I call them like sellouts is just because, like, you know, like I feel like sellouts, it's like they're selling out venues and stuff like that. Like I know sellout also means like selling out, you know, your music,
hmm
but
hmm
I'm also like meaning it of like they become mainstream, and it's just like, you know,
Well, personally, I don't feel
it's
that there's
nice if
actually
you,
a wrong thing to say about becoming mainstream if you do it the right way and you don't sacrifice your musical integrity or what have you to become famous. As long
yeah,
as you're not doing that, then to me, you're not a sellout. Like Metallica, I feel sold out when they got big record deals because they went ahead and conformed to what the music industry wanted. They cut their hair and changed their musical style and everything else. Whereas,
yeah,
you know, other bands like Motley Crue and others, they had a style and they stayed with it. They didn't deviate, even though they
yeah.
got signed. You know, but then again, they were also more on that, you know, demonic kind of vibe. But their songs were still good for that time frame.
Yeah. Let's see if we're talking like singer songwriters.
hmm
Greatest of all time.
To me, Melissa Etheridge needs to be up there.
Noah Kahan. You're not gonna know who he is, but Noah Kahan. Like,
I've heard the name. I don't know the music.
Yeah, you probably have. You just don't know it. Like one of his
Right.
songs is like insanely big. It's called Stick
Mhm.
Season. It's like viral everywhere. He's
Tori
also worked a
Amos
lot
is
with
another one that I like. That's a singer songwriter.
like Hosier or Hosier, however you say his name. The Take Me to Church dude.
Right.
Which he's getting away from that song because he's like, guys, like stop. It's not what
I
I
mean,
want
it's
to
a
be known
popular
for.
song, but yeah,
Yeah,
I
and it's
get
a
it.
great song. But yeah,
But
he's
there's a
kind of like
lot of
he
bands out
stopped.
there that have done that. That have done a song that they thought it was a throwaway song or they didn't like, but it got popular because it got
Like he
put on an
likes
album
it.
or published.
Yeah, like I mean, he likes it. He's proud of it, but he's just tired of like that being the only thing people know him as, and so he
Yeah,
sort of got
it,
away from it. Like he changed his
yeah,
he went a
yeah.
little
I
bit
feel you.
darker
It,
type of thing.
it's like Mr. Jones and that song. That guy says that he hates that he ever records a song because it's all anybody knows from.
Yeah, like what's that
Or
one?
Mrs. Jones, not Mr.
Panic,
Mr. Jones
Panic
and
at the
Me.
Disco. Brendan Urie can't stand I write sins not tragedies. Like he can't, like he fucking hates it because like that's all, like for freaking 15 years that's all he sang. Every time someone like would
hmm
have them on like their radio or at a concert or something, like people would just please sing, and he's just like fuck, like this song, like I get it, it's good, but like god,
Yep.
like stop. So he finally just
Yep.
like completely axed it and said, I'm not performing it anymore. If you want to listen to it, listen to the 20 million other live broadcasts we've done.
Right. And now another thing that I like that some independent artists have done is they go ahead and they'll go and either put up a poll or they'll have the fans write in for songs they want on their playlist for live
Mm-hmm.
to play the songs that people want to hear.
Yeah. See, and like that's a good thing. Like that's one thing about um Ryan is that like when he does concerts, he doesn't do concerts where he's like doing big venues. He's very much into the like smaller venues, more intimate, just him and his guitar or his piano and just singing to a group of 30 people. Um like so he's always, no matter how big he gets, no matter how many times his songs are played on, shows, and it's like big shows. It's like Grey's Anatomy where millions
Mm-hmm.
and millions of people are freaking
Right.
listening to him. Like shows, or there's movies like The Fault in Our Stars. He had a few ones. Like he had one of
Mm-hmm.
his songs is in actually, well, it's one song, but it's two versions. There's like the regular and then the instrumental was in Twilight. Like so millions of people listen to his stuff, and yet
Yeah.
he can like he just prefers to do the more, like he could very well sell out freaking Madison Square Garden if he wanted to, but he doesn't want that. And that's what I like about him, is that he has that integrity of, yeah,
I
it's
understand
cool
where you're
that,
coming from.
yeah,
Yeah,
like,
I understand where you're
yeah,
coming
it's
from. It's the reason I like Citizen Soldier is because they are so independent. When they go and do a tour live, they have a GoFundMe and they go to the areas that the most of the people that donate to the GoFundMe are.
yeah. Yeah, like, and he goes to like, lesser known like areas. Like he doesn't just hit the big cities.
Right.
Like he goes to
Right.
the smaller cities where, the people who actually enjoy, like, not saying like the people in the big cities don't enjoy his stuff, but it's just like,
Right.
the
I feel
places
you.
where people can't like go to, like
Right. I feel
type
you.
of thing. And it's really cool how, he's like, it's cool and all that I'm capable, like the knowledge that he's capable of doing it is enough than actually doing it. He doesn't need to do what Taylor Swift just did of like selling out, making billions on a sold out world tour for like,
Right.
every single night. Like that's not what, like, it's
Right.
cool to know that
I
he
feel you.
has those numbers. Like he the knowledge that he has those numbers already, like he doesn't have to see them. You know,
Right.
he would much rather
Okay.
connect one-on-one with like his fans, and I just
I get you.
fucking love him so much. Plus, his like freaking Jim Nader said, the things he does with his craft is just fucking how. Like, this is one man doing all of this, and there's no way, but there is a way because he's doing it. Like, type
Right.
of thing.
I get you.
But yeah, I'll send you, I have like a playlist of like his greatest that I can send you. Do you have Spotify, or
That's
do you
cool.
have like,
No, I don't.
you don't? Do you have, what do you have?
I only have YouTube.
Oh, you only have YouTube. Okay, well, I can
Yeah, I only play
definitely.
music through YouTube.
You're good. I can definitely like put on I can convert it into a playlist on YouTube for you.
I wouldn't make it too long because I have
Oh, yeah,
a
no,
short attention span.
You're good. But I will say, like, even with a short attention span, like the different, like, it's just you can go from like one to the next, and it's a completely different tone of a song, and it's just like, oh, it's so good.
Okay.
Anyways,
Okay.
but yeah,
But with that being said, I think we're gonna shut it down.
yeah, no, you're good.
All right. So, thanks everybody for coming out to the after party. We'll see you next Thursday.
Bye.
Talk to y'all later.